Criminals are taking advantage. Here's how AI is transforming online crimes.
I was shocked. I was like, no way. I couldn't, it just took my breath away.
This mom got the scariest phone call of her life. On the other end, she hears her daughter crying.
She's like, Mom, I messed up.
It's a disturbing new trend, another layer of artificial intelligence.
As an entity, what could possibly happen if this gets into the wrong hands?
Artificial intelligence is a powerful tool, but in the wrong hands, it can be the world's most dangerous weapon. And unfortunately, people are already using AI to break the law in terrible ways. These are the worst crimes committed with AI, ranked from the least to the most disturbing. I'm Visual Venture, and I hope you guys liked this video. It's definitely one that needed a little bit more research because AI crimes are still pretty new. The disturbing recording. A disturbing AI crime occurred in the last place you'd expect, a high school. On January 16th, 2024, 3 teachers from Pikesville High School received a mysterious email from an unknown sender. Most people don't open emails from strangers, but this one had a subject line that was impossible to ignore. Pikesville Principal Disturbing Recording. Attached to the email was an audio file, and when each teacher played the audio, their jaw hit the floor. The voice in the audio was unmistakable. It belonged to their boss, Pikeville High's principal, Eric Eisworth. In the recording, the principal was making inappropriate comments about black people, saying stuff like black students couldn't test their way out of a paper bag.
I seriously don't understand why I have to constantly put up with these dumb here every day.
In the same audio, the principal also made disparaging comments about Jewish people and mentioned the names of staff members who should have never been hired.
Lawrence and Ravenel should have never been hired. And don't let me get started on DJ. I'm gonna drag his out of here one way or another.
It didn't take long for this recording to spread. Soon other teachers heard it, then students and parents. Somehow the audio made its way onto social media and it went viral, shared over 27,000 times. The school district immediately suspended the principal and launched an investigation into the matter. But that wasn't enough to calm people down.
It was really uncomfortable. It's like the environment at the school just starts to feel hostile more and more every day as I'm here.
Folks in the community were so angry they tried to get physical with the principal. Others even sent him death threats. Eventually, police officers had to be stationed outside of Principal Eisworth's house to protect him from the angry crowds. It wasn't long before the story spread to the media, turning this high school scandal into national news.
Folks, the Baltimore County Public School System is investigating the principal at Pikesville High School for allegedly making derogatory comments about black students, staff, and Jewish folk.
And what's very unfortunate for him, he's probably going to be out of his job.
But there was something about this case that didn't add up. Principal Eisworth insisted that the recording was fake. He swore he never said any of those things. Unfortunately, no one in the community believed him. The voice in the recording sounded exactly like his, and he was talking about the people he worked with. Even the principal's closest friends thought it was real. There was nothing to suggest otherwise. However, the principal kept insisting the audio was fake and would not back down. Because he was so persistent, the school district investigating the case started to wonder if he was telling the truth. The principal would have to take a lie detector test. The authorities put him through the test, and the results turned the entire case around. The results showed that Principal Eisworth did not make the statements on the audio. But this only made things more confusing. If the principal didn't say those things in the recording, then why did the voice in the audio sound exactly like his? Experts were brought in to study the audio, and soon they had their answer. A forensic analysis revealed that the audio contained traces of AI-generated content with human editing after the fact. In other words, the recording was created using AI. Principal Eisworth was relieved. He would finally clear his name. But there was still something troubling him. The audio was fake. Everyone knew that by now. So who would make a fake recording to get their principal fired? When the school authorities realized someone was trying to frame the principal, they informed the cops and it became an official police investigation. The detectives on the case started by making a list of suspects. They asked themselves who would want the principal out of the picture. As they spoke to people in the community, one name kept coming up: Dazone Darien. If Principal Eisworth had an enemy, it would be this guy. Dazone Darien was the physical education teacher and athletic director at Pikesville High School. So technically, Principal Eisworth was his boss. However, Darien and Principal Eisworth did not get along. The teacher and principal argued multiple times, and the tension between them kept building. Employees argue with their bosses all the time, so it was crazy to think Darian would make a fake AI audio to frame his boss. But a few days later, the detectives uncovered one piece of information that made Dazon the prime suspect. Here's what the cops found when they were looking into Darian. We know Darian and Principal Eisworth didn't see eye to eye, but they still worked together out of necessity. However, things between them went downhill when Darian made a big mistake. Remember, Darian was the school's athletic director in charge of managing the budget for PE activities. While going over the school accounts, Principal Eisworth noticed that Darian spent $1,916 of school funds to pay an assistant coach for the girls' soccer team. There was just one problem. The principal didn't even know the school had an assistant coach for the team. When he asked the girls' soccer team and their head coach, they confirmed there was no assistant coach at all. So who got paid as a supposed assistant coach? When Principal Eisworth investigated the name on the assistant coach's check, he discovered that the so-called coach was actually Darian's roommate. In other words, Darian and his roommate stole money from the school. If the principal reported the theft, Darian wouldn't just lose his job, he could be arrested. When the principal confronted him about it, Darian couldn't deny what he had done. Rumors spread that Darian's contract would not be renewed next semester. Darian was about to be fired and he knew it. Once detectives discovered Darian's motive, the rest of the case came together quickly. Investigators discovered that Darian used the school's internet multiple times to look up generative AI tools, including the day before the audio clip was sent. They traced the email that sent out the fake audio to an internet provider registered to Darian's grandmother. The recovery phone number on the email account had a 213 area code, which was registered to Darian himself. After seeing all the evidence, a judge approved an arrest warrant for Darian. But there was one last twist. Darian ran away to escape before the cops could arrest him. But Darian's time as a fugitive didn't last long. Just a day after the warrant was signed, Darian was arrested at the airport trying to board a flight out of state. He was slapped with multiple charges, including theft, retaliation against a witness, and stalking.
Mr. Darian, who was the athletic director at the high school, made the recording to retaliate against the principal who had launched an investigation into the potential mishandling of school funds.
The case against Dazon Darian is still going on as of the time of making this video, and he's probably gonna end up in jail. Our next AI crime is deeply personal. It went beyond breaking the law. It broke someone's heart. In love with Elon. Romance scams are a huge problem on the internet. In 2022, about 70,000 people reported falling for romance scams, losing about $1.3 billion. Now imagine how much worse romance scams could be if criminals started using AI. Well, they already are. In July 2023, a woman in South Korea received a friend request on Instagram. To her surprise, it was from none other than Elon Musk. This woman was a huge fan of Elon. She even read his biography. But she knew that anyone could create an Instagram account pretending to be Elon Musk, so this friend request might not be actually from him. After all, why would the richest man in the world suddenly reach out to her? But then she thought, what if it was real? What if she ignored it and missed the chance to be friends with one of the most successful men to have ever lived? For most of us, it's pretty easy to tell if an Instagram account is real or fake. But she was an older woman who wasn't good with social media, so she took the risk and accepted Elon Musk's friend request. They started chatting. Right away, she wanted to know if this Elon was real or just a scammer. She asked a ton of questions and demanded proof. But Elon had an answer for everything. To assure her that he was the real Elon Musk, he sent her a photo of his ID card, but it was no ordinary ID card. It was a Citizen of Mars ID. The card showed his ID number on Mars, which was 1, and it indicated that his place of birth is Earth. Sending that card to prove his identity was crazy, but it kind of fit Elon's quirky personality. After all, he's launching rockets to send people to Mars. As they continued chatting on Instagram, Elon told her about his work, how he traveled in a private helicopter and where he planned to build new Tesla factories. He also shared details about his family life, saying things like the kids go to SpaceX every weekend. Almost everything Elon told her matched what was reported in the news. Little by little, her doubts melted away, but she still had one burning question. Why did Elon Musk want to talk to her specifically. She asked, and Elon had the perfect answer. He said he liked to randomly reach out to his fans. This Elon was funny, smart, and charming, and she couldn't help but like him more and more. Then Elon took it a step further. He suggested a video call. This was the ultimate test. If she saw his face on a video call, she'd be sure he was the real Elon. The video call happened, and there he was, Elon Musk himself. She watched as his lips moved, hearing his voice and seeing his geeky mannerisms in real time. But something amazing happened during that call. Elon Musk told her he loved her. The richest man in the world, a tech genius, was in love with her. It felt like a fairy tale. And Elon had a gift for her. He wanted to make her rich. Elon told her about a private investment opportunity that was guaranteed to quadruple her money. Apparently, that same investment helped make him a billionaire. Now, because he loved her, he wanted her to be rich too. He told her, "I'm happy that my fans will become wealthy through me." Elon convinced her to send $50,000 to a Korean bank account. He claimed the account belonged to one of his employees in Korea. She transferred the money thinking she was about to start a new life with a billionaire. But it never happened. After she sent the $50,000, Elon Musk vanished. He stopped responding to her messages and her money was gone. That's when she realized it was a huge scam. The Elon Musk she'd been talking to wasn't the real Elon. But how could he be fake if she spoke to him on a video call? The answer is deepfakes. Deepfake technology is now so advanced that you can have a video call using someone else's face and voice in real time. Later, the heartbroken woman went on a South Korean TV show to share her story and warn others. With deepfake romance scams becoming more common, finding love online has never been this risky, especially for the older generation. The next criminals didn't just use AI for just one crime. They used it to build a criminal empire. The failed musician. This guy might be a genius, but criminal genius is probably a better way to describe him. His name is Michael Smith, and he invented a whole new type of crime, using AI to steal millions of dollars from the music industry. And he did it all without leaving his bedroom. Michael Smith didn't start out as a criminal. For most of his life, he was a regular, law-abiding guy. He was actually a musician, but when he reached his late 40s, he started to feel frustrated. Despite his talent and hard work, he still wasn't a famous musician. On top of that, he was broke. Then in 2017, he came up with a brilliant plan to make millions off of music, whether he was famous or not. The only problem was that his brilliant plan was against the law. To pull it off, Michael teamed up with two partners, a music promoter and the CEO of an AI music company. He told them about his plan, explaining how it could bring them over $1.2 million a year. Michael's idea was to create tons of songs and upload them to streaming platforms like Spotify and Apple Music, hoping to make money from all of the plays. But instead of using real musicians, he would use AI to make the songs. It seemed like the perfect crime, and they got to work. Before long, they were churning out dozens of songs every day. In their emails to each other, they called it instant music. The plan had 3 steps. First, AI created strange songs with odd file names. Next, Michael uploaded these songs to Spotify and Apple Music, but he changed their titles to some pretty weird words. The AI songs sucked, so he created thousands of fake bot accounts to listen to these songs over and over, making it seem like real people were enjoying the music.
And they created thousands of bots, and these bots are just programs that are designed to just run in the background and play these pieces of music.
Michael knew that if a single song were to be streamed 1 billion times, it would raise suspicions among the streaming platforms. So he spread his automated streams across thousands of songs. He created software to stream his songs to different computers, making it appear that listeners were tuning in from different locations. The bots rotated between songs and listened at different times of the day, making everything seem more believable. Michael created as many as 10,000 streaming accounts using email addresses he purchased online. He even hired assistants to help manage all the bots. Since platforms like Spotify and Apple Music pay artists for each play, the more streams his AI songs got, the more he earned. Everything was going perfectly, but that was about to change. In October 2018, less than a year after they started, a streaming platform gave Michael some bad news. They said they received multiple reports of streaming abuse and were considering removing his songs. By this time, Michael already made close to $1 million. This would have been the perfect time to quit before getting caught. But instead, Michael doubled down. He messaged the streaming platform saying, "This is absolutely wrong and crazy. There's no fraud here whatsoever. How can I appeal this?" He was so convincing that the streaming service backed down and kept his songs up. From 2017 to 2024, Michael's AI songs generated over 4 billion streams and $12 million in royalties. However, the streaming platforms still had their eye on him. They knew something fishy was going on, but they couldn't prove it yet. As AI technology improved, streaming platforms started using their own AI tools to detect bots and fake streams. By September 2024, they gathered enough evidence to prove that Michael was running a scam with AI music. By this time, they didn't send him an email to kick him off the platform. Instead, they called the FBI.
As FBI agents raided a Cornelius man's home. He's a musician, now facing serious charges.
When we got here, FBI agents were in the driveway of Smith's home on Willdare Drive.
Michael was arrested and charged with 3 counts of wire fraud conspiracy, and money laundering conspiracy. Each charge carries a maximum of 20 years in prison, which could mean up to 60 years behind bars. Michael Smith's case is still happening at the time of this recording. If he's convicted, he could spend the rest of his life behind bars. But at least, he made history.
This is the first criminal case involving AI in music streaming fraud.
Every day, people use apps like ChatGPT and Midjourney to generate tons of words and images. But while most use it for good, these next criminals used it to create chaos. Fake news. People always say seeing is believing, but in 2023, some viral photos made everyone question that. In March, photos showing President Donald Trump being arrested spread across social media. They exploded on Twitter, Instagram, and all over the internet. A lot of people thought the arrest was real until they found out it was all a lie.
Deep fake photos like these swirled around social media, seemingly showing the former president struggling with authorities.
Multiple TV networks confirmed that Trump wasn't arrested and that the photos were fake. AI experts noticed details like strange skin tones, blurry faces, and body parts that didn't look right.
They may look real, but none of them are.
It turned out that these photos were created using an AI tool called Midjourney. The fake images of President Trump caused so much chaos that Midjourney banned the person who made those images. Midjourney also stopped taking cues with the word Trump in it. While no one got jailed for the fake Trump images, a man in China wasn't so lucky when he tried to spread fake news. In 2023, news about a train crash in China went viral, claiming that 9 people lost their lives. The story was picked up by 20 different blogs in the country and soon had over 15,000 views. People who read it were panicking, worried about their families and friends. But overnight, everything changed. Chinese authorities stepped in and announced that the entire story was fake. There was no train crash, no deaths. It was all made up. But instead of feeling relieved that it wasn't true, the authorities were furious. China has strict rules for online information, including a law about AI-generated content. This law says any image, video, or text generated with AI must be clearly labeled as fake. The fake news about the train crash broke the law, and the police wanted to find and punish the person behind it. What started as a fake news story turned into a full police investigation. After some time, they traced the blog post back to a guy named Hong from Gansu. When they questioned him, Hong admitted he used ChatGPT to create different versions of the fake story to bypass duplication checks. With this confession, Hong was arrested for concocting false information. The specific crime Hong was accused of, however, is picking quarrels and provoking trouble, which was punishable by up to 5 years in prison. This made him the first person in China to be arrested for using AI to create fake news. The worst crimes are the ones that involve parents and kids. In the next chapter, you'll see how some twisted criminals are using AI to destroy families. My daughter is in danger. No one knows more about AI voice cloning than Jennifer DeStefano. She isn't a tech expert or a scientist, she's just a regular mom. But while most people have only heard about the dangers of AI voice cloning, Jennifer experienced it in a way she'll never forget. In April 2023, Jennifer DeStefano got a call from an unknown number. When she answered, she heard her daughter Bree crying and saying, "Mom, I messed up." Before Jennifer could respond, a man's voice cut in. He sounded mean and said, "Listen here, I've got your daughter. daughter. This is how it's going to go down. You call the police, you call anybody, I'm going to have my way with her and drop her off in Mexico. While the man was talking, Jennifer could still hear her daughter sobbing in the background. The kidnapper demanded a ransom of $1 million to release Bree. Like any parent, Jennifer would have paid anything to save her child, but she didn't have that kind of money. When she told the kidnapper she couldn't pay, he instantly reduced the ransom to $50,000. That's a 95% drop. He insisted he didn't want the money wired. He'd pick it up himself. The kidnapper hung up to give Jennifer time to get the money. But instead of gathering the cash, Jennifer did the one thing he told her not to do. She called the cops. However, Jennifer didn't have a reason to be worried. In fact, she didn't even need to bother the cops because her daughter was never in danger. The voice was a perfect AI-generated clone. After making a few calls, Jennifer realized that her daughter was safe. If she sent the money, she would have been yet another victim of the AI voice cloning scam. Jennifer's story caught the attention of her local news station, and she shared her experience with reporters. She explained, "It all just seemed so real. I never doubted for 1 second that it was her. That's the freaky part that really got me to my core. Even the crying on the call was perfect. It was exactly how her daughter would have cried." Luckily, Jennifer didn't lose any money, but the next couple wasn't so lucky. An elderly couple in Canada got a call from someone who sounded exactly like their son. Their son said he was in jail for being involved in a fatal car accident. Then he passed the phone to a lawyer who told him to send $21,000 for legal fees to get their son out of jail. Terrified and desperate to help, the couple sent the money through Bitcoin as instructed. But it was all a scam. They discovered the truth later that night when their real son called them. AI voice scams are scary because criminals only need 3 seconds of someone's voice to make a clone. They can easily get that from a YouTube clip, a podcast, or even a social media post. So it seems like they're not going to stop anytime soon. This next AI crime wasn't just illegal, it ruined the reputations of many women. Horrible deepfake content. It's not every day the police show up at a school, especially to arrest a teenager. But in June 2024, that's what happened in Melbourne, Australia. In front of stunned classmates and teachers, the police put handcuffs on a student involved in one of the most disgusting AI crimes: inappropriate deepfake content. The boy was accused of using deepfake AI to create explicit photos with the faces of 50 female classmates. Parents who saw the photos described them as incredibly graphic. In this case, the school stopped the deepfake photos from spreading online, but not everyone is that lucky. Take Jody, for example. Her face was attached to so many explicit deepfakes that people started to think she was an adult star. Actually, what happened to Jody might be one of the worst cases of deepfake content. Jody was in her mid-20s when her deepfake nightmare began. In May 2020, she got a message from a friend saying that someone was sharing her pictures on Twitter and writing captions that suggested she was a hooker.
But the captions alongside her photos say that Jody wants to earn some extra money during lockdown, selling.
Jody checked the Twitter account that was pretending to be her and realized that the photos were taken from her Instagram page. That Twitter page also had photos taken from her friend Daisy's Instagram page. Jody and Daisy were determined to find out who was doing this. Since Jody's Instagram was private, they figured the person who stole the photos must be one of Jody's Instagram followers. The two friends made a list of all the men who followed both of them on social media.
Jody and Daisy go through a list of 50 men who follow them both. Narrowing it down, one person sticks out to them: Jody's ex-boyfriend.
Everyone who followed Jody was either a trusted friend or family member. The only person who might want to embarrass her was her ex. Enraged, Jody decided to confront him. She accused her ex-boyfriend of stealing her photos and posting them on the creepy Twitter account, but he swore he wasn't responsible. Jody couldn't get him to confess, but she still believed it was him, so she blocked him on Instagram. Blocking him meant he wouldn't be able to see or download her Instagram photos anymore. For a while, the creepy Twitter account stopped posting her photos, and she thought it was all over. But she was wrong. A few months later, Jody received a strange email from an unknown sender. The subject line made her heart skip a beat. It read, "Someone is posting pics of you online. Sorry to remain anonymous," the email read, "but I saw this guy was posting pics of you on creepy subreddits. I know this must be really scary." The email also said that someone was asking if anyone could create deepfake adult content with Jody's pictures. In return for deepfakes of Jody, the person promised to share more more personal photos of her. Jody was horrified, but worse news followed. 6 weeks later, the same emailer got in touch again, this time about the deepfakes. The mysterious emailer included a link so Jody could see her photos being used for fake adult content, but there was also a warning.
Huge trigger warning, because they contain lewd photoshopped images of you.
When she clicked the link, it opened a page filled with images of her doing intimate things, but none of it was real. Her face had been digitally added to someone else's body. But that wasn't the worst part. She realized the pictures being used in these deepfakes were from her recent Instagram posts. Jody knew her ex couldn't be behind it because he didn't have access to her new photos. She blamed the wrong person. But if it wasn't him, then who? Which of her Instagram followers was trying to turn her pictures into this type of content? As she flipped through the deepfakes, one photo caught her eye. This wasn't a photo she posted online. It wasn't anywhere on her social media. In fact, there was only one person apart from her who had this photo. It was a picture of her with King's College in the background, and she shared this photo with only one person. The man in the photo with her, her best friend, Alex Wolf.
I knew that it had been cropped, and that the person who was cropped out was my best friend, Alex.
Jody was stunned. She'd known Alex since they were teenagers. He was a loyal friend and someone she could count on. But now it was clear Alex betrayed her. Jody reported Alex to the police and he was arrested. Investigators found out that Alex downloaded images of 15 women and asked for their faces to be put on the bodies of women doing intimate tasks. He then posted these fake images on adult websites. Alex's sentence was 20 weeks in prison, suspended for 2 years, and he had to pay each victim £100. Right now, inappropriate deepfake content makes up 98% of all deepfake videos online. Also, 1 in every 3 deepfake tools allows users to create deepfake images of anyone they want. The good news is that countries are making laws to stop the rise of this content. Like in October 2023, the UK made it a criminal offense to share inappropriate deepfake content. The next AI crime was so smooth that nobody realized a massive crime was committed until long after it was over. The $25 million mistake. In February 2024, a company called Arab was hit by one of the most advanced AI crimes ever. Many other companies have been victims of AI attacks, but this particular heist was so incredible that it made headlines around the world. But out of all the companies in the world, why did these AI criminals go after Arab? Arab is an engineering firm with multi-million-dollar projects around the globe. Despite being a well-organized company, Arab had one major weakness. Its offices were spread across the world. By 2023, Arab Group had 94 offices in 34 countries, a fact that they were proud to share on their website. Little did they know, being so spread out would make them an easy target for AI conmen. It was a regular day in February 2024. An accountant in Arab's Hong Kong office received an email from the company's chief financial officer based in the UK. But as soon as the accountant read the message, he thought it was a scam. The email asked him to secretly transfer millions of dollars from the company account into several other bank accounts. He didn't believe that Arab's chief financial officer would send such a strange request. However, it seemed like it was legit because the email also asked him to join a video call with the CFO. He was about to see and talk to the person who wanted him to move all that money. When the video call began, he saw the CFO and several familiar faces from the UK office. The CFO wasted no time explaining that they needed to send a large sum of money immediately for a secret deal. The CFO warned them that if they didn't act quickly, the company could be in serious trouble. Everyone else on the call nodded in agreement, which made it feel even more urgent. Trusting what they saw and heard, the Hong Kong accountant decided to follow their instructions. With a few clicks, he transferred 200 million Hong Kong dollars, which is about 25.6 million US dollars, out of the company's account to 5 different Hong Kong bank accounts. Most importantly, he transferred the money without telling anyone else because they told him it was a secret transaction. But what the accountant didn't know was that the chief financial officer that he spoke to on the video call wasn't real. It was a deepfake. In fact, everyone else on the video call was a deepfake too. A week later, Arab found out $25 million had gone missing from their Hong Kong account. When they asked the accountant why he transferred the money, he simply said the CFO ordered him to do it. It didn't take long for everyone to realize the accountant had been duped. out. But by then it was too late. The money was gone.
I like to imagine the reactions of all the chiefs of the company when they hear that this guy just authorized $26 million to Mr. Bombastically in the Bahamas.
When word got out about the crime, people were stunned. The big question everyone had was, how did the accountant not notice that the CFO on the video call was a deepfake? The truth is that some deepfakes are a lot more realistic than most people think, especially for people who aren't keeping up with technology. Deepfakes don't just copy faces and voices, it can even imitate mannerisms. In this case, the deepfake was so realistic that even the accountant who'd spoken with the real CFO many times couldn't tell the difference. The other people on the video call looked and sounded just like his actual coworkers.
This is real-time back and forth. This is an escalation of the technology that we've already come to fear. Now we have a reason to fear it even more.
Once they reported it to the police, news outlets picked up on it fast. The criminals behind this huge heist have not been caught yet. As deepfake technology gets even more advanced, my friends, this is just the beginning. There was a time when criminals needed masks and weapons to commit their crimes. Today, all they need is a computer. The new era of crime is here, and the only way to protect the ones you love is to stay informed. Visual Venture. Wait, before you go, make sure you guys click here to subscribe and then click here to watch more dark internet documentaries. Love you guys. Peace.